was one in Toronto. I said, all over. They used to be sold out everywhere. Detroit, New York, everywhere. I said, none now. I said, there's only one place. I said, they're not, whatever what they're doing, they're not, they think they're big, but, whatever. I know I'm a beast, but I'm not a complete idiot, and I watch it, and to me, it's all they do. Oh, there's so much talking. I love to hear somebody have a good interview. I interviewed a lot, but I wrestled too. You just can't, now they just talk and talk. But, like I said, things change, but they sure didn't all change for the good.
What are some of your greatest memories of wrestling?
Well,
When you were in matches, was there any wrestlers that you thought the chemistry was right that you wrestled?
Yeah, well, there were so many of them, that I wrestled, I've had some,
How about Killer Carl Crew?
Yeah, Killer, you had to give him credit. Killer, got to be in pretty good shape, and he was tough, and he wasn't a crybaby, he went in the ring and he produced. He worked hard, and, but some of the best matches I would say I had, maybe I told you that before, but with Terry Funk, when he was the world champion there, I wrestled him an hour draw, and then I wrestled him another time 90 minutes, like an hour and a half draw. His brother, Dory Funk Jr., when he was the heavyweight champion of the world too. I wrestled him quite a few times, but there was a lot of them, like I said, I had great matches. Yeah, I had a good tag team partner. Of course, my brother was a good tag team partner, but I had one when I was away, the Alaskan, Jay York. We were tag team around Charlotte, North Carolina, and them places. And we had I thought he was a real good partner, and we wrestled like the Scott brothers, Sandy and George Scott and all them. And, there was nothing, an hour draw, 45 minutes, just up and down, bang, bop. We were young in shape, but he suited me real good. He was a real good partner, and he was along finding out, if you're going to be the Beast partner, you have to wrestle, and you got to be serious and ready to go in the ring and work. But we got along good. We made a good team, and Rudy was a real good tag team partner for me, my brother. He was pretty well. And Leo was a good partner too. Leo was the tag team partner in Texas with me. He was a...
Did you, I'm assuming that in some parts of wrestling, like you played both sides of the face and the heel? Or?
Well, I always was the same. I never changed me. But the peeps, sometimes, some places, the people after a while would kind of go like I was become a hero, but I never changed. I was the same. I wrestled here the same as I did when I was in Texas and them places. But, my style was kind of rough, but here, it don't matter if I took a 2x4 and I beat somebody over the head, they thought I was God, that was great. But when you're away, the way that some places they didn't. But Texas was just, I wasn't, you put it that way, I wasn't really their favorite, but never was that bad. But, I'm just me. I wasn't much of a guy. I'm not the type of guy that threw drop kicks and head scissors or anything like that. I just wrestled straight ahead. But like I said, wrestling was good to me.
So, when you do that, when you wrestle, do you feed off the audience a lot? Do you feed off the audience a lot?
Well,
or is that
not really. See, well, sure, if you wrestle when there's a big crowd and they're really alive, it maybe give you a little more energy, like, you feel more like it. But I went in the ring and there was two people that I looked at and was the guy that I was wrestling and the referee, really, I know there was wrestle places where there'd be 5, 6, up to 10,000 people, the big crowd and everything. It kind of puts you in the mood maybe a little more, but I always, me, to wrestle, do whatever you could and get it over with, and then, like I always said, then turn the page, be another time. We were busy, for years and years and years. I'd wrestle 6, sometimes 7 times a week, sometimes more, because sometimes you'd have to wrestle on TV in the morning and then wrestle at night, See, but, I trained hard, I stayed in shape, and you have to be careful what you ate, you know what I mean? And then, so I felt good. It's the way I was.
the risks involved with that? There must be lots of risks involved with that.
Well, I was lucky as far as, I got a broken nose 2 or 3 times, and you can see you got a broken thumb and this and that, but I never was hurt real bad, like I had, 300 some stitches in the face, but they were just, cut here, cut there, and here, and stitches, but nothing, I never had to go to the hospital or anything. Oh, well, you gotta go sometimes get stitches, but that was, part of life, and I didn't think nothing of it.
How do you work through that? How do you work through an injury like that?
Well, see, if you had stitches, then you'd have to take, sometimes 3 days, 4 days off, that's it, But the rest, like this here, I never took time off of that, and just taped it, and, just kept going. I never...
How did you break your thumb?
Oh, well, there were so many things. I knocked it out of joint there, went right backwards in Texas once, and then a couple of places there you got messed up, but it's I used to tell people, they said, you put your hand this way, it's a long ways from the heart, so never. It's like you're playing hockey. If you wrestle, you're playing hockey, you're going to get hit, you're going to get knocked down. If you don't think that's going to happen, well, change business. You're in the wrong place. You play hockey, if you think you ain't going to fall, if you think you ain't going to get a tackle and smash in the board, well, you're in the wrong sport.
So how did you get introduced to the chain match concept?
Well, it's just like one of those things, and like they figured, hey, you're the type that, don't back off or anything. So I've had a lot of chain matches. I was the king of the chain match one spell there for 5 years. Never was beaten in a chain match. I've had them all over Texas and everywhere. I knew what a chain felt like. I've had it a lot of times around that old wrist. But
do you remember how many matches you had?
Oh God, it would be pretty hard to say just how many there. Oh, it'd be hundreds and hundreds of them, but at least I would say at least 200 anyway, because I used to have a lot of them in Texas, and had quite a few here in the Maritime too. And had a lot of cage matches too.
Yes.
We had quite a few cage matches.
Do you remember the first time you did that?
Not really the first time I've had so many of them.
What do you do? Wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to go have a cage match
No,
today? Or?
no, the promoter's the one that looks
Yeah.
after that, not you. You got nothing to do. I mean, say, yeah, you got some to do. If you don't want to do it, if you're scared, but he'll book you next week, Beast and so in the cage match. So, but see, that you don't just say, I'm going to put them two in the cage match. It's like, say, it all depends how, if you wrestle a guy, a couple of times, and like, say, you slip out of the ring, or he does, or something like that, then after a while, well, you decide, okay, we'll put them in the cage. Then you won't be able to get out of the ring. You gotta stay there. Because after a while, you take, like, people, the fans, they want to see somebody get a beating, you know what I mean? Like, they don't like it. So this way here, you got a cage, well, you lock the door, you're in there. And the only way, so there it is. It's got to be a winner. It's got to come to the end. So then at least they, like I say, they pay money to watch two guys wrestle, and then after a while they say, well, something, I want to know if the Beast can beat this guy, or this guy can beat the Beast, or, so okay. Have a cane match, well, you got to be in it, and it's got to be a winner. There's no disqualification or nothing. Got to get, like 1, 2, 3. So that's the way it is, and that's the way it ends. Now, that's over with.
Describe to me what a chain match is.
Well, a chain match.
The concept of that.
Yeah, a chain match is the chains, 6 feet, 7 feet long, and the way you win the match, you have to touch the 4 turnbuckle. So, you can knock your guy down or somehow, and then you touch the 4. If you can touch the 4 turnbuckle right in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4, then you're the winner. And it's the way it is. Chain.
So if you won it, you get more money for that? Or?
Well, it all depends. No, not really. You wouldn't have any more money, but the only thing is, like you're in but especially if you're in the main event, you get a percentage. So if you have a chain match, say you and I have a chain match, we sell out, you're going to make more money than if you wrestle with just half full the house, like, so, like, there's big money in it, and there was I thought, there was quite a good money way back 30 years ago, like 20, 30, well, yeah, about 30 years ago, like I thought it was, because, when I started to wrestle, while I was running dozers, and you're making $1.25 an hour, like, and when I started that way back, and then in the 70s, I was, like I'd make 2,000, sometimes 3,000, 2,500 a week. So I thought, it was pretty good money. You could buy a 6-pack of beer and you still had money left. Nah, it's, like I liked it, and, but then after.
Is it a little bit masochistic?
What do you mean, like?
Well, you like being in that position? You like?
Yeah, well, see, I always like, and I still, I always like to, like stay. You're always in shape. You felt good and everything, and you become a part part of life. Like, you know what I mean? And this is what you do, and then, you got the TV, and then you interview this and that, and then the rest, and then, But like I said, the more people you draw, the more money you're going to make. So we always had an interest in it, and it always helped too. Like you gotta have a good crew. It's like a band, a country and western band. You could be a super singer, like a Merle Haggard or what, but if you got a band that's lousy, then it's no good. You gotta have help. So you got to have the combination of everything. And wrestling, like I said, I'm not bragging or anything there, but after I was about 3 or 4 years in the business, I usually most of the time was in the main event, like on last. But it's very, very important to have a good opening match, you know what I mean? Get the people in the mood, you know, it's like I said, Johnny Cash or Merle Haggard or them come to, they don't open the show, but the openers got to get the people in the mood then when they come. So same as wrestling, I mean, it's very important to have a good card, let's put it that way. You don't mean just one good match, you mean the whole thing, so.
So your favorite place to wrestle was in the Maritimes?
Well, yeah, but I enjoyed Texas. Texas was, I spent a lot of time there. Texas, just, I don't know why, but it just, I thought it was a great place to wrestle. And I liked the country, and I don't know, I don't want to go as far as say I was gone, but in Texas, and the promoter, the old Funk himself, he thought the world of me, and he started calling me in August, make sure I'd be there in the fall, it's like, I don't know what you could say, it just happened that I just clicked in Texas, the old beast when it comes to Texas, everybody seemed like they're all there, it was just a great place. I made good money and I enjoyed it, and I liked the Texas because a lot of good country music, and I love country music, and anywhere. And in the wintertime it's nice, you don't have, you get a little bit of snow once in a while in Amarillo, but most of the place is nice and open winter, and a lot of ranchers, which I, brought up here on the farm, so you kind of get talking to them, and it's just nice country, I think. I thought was just great. Yep. Well.
Any stories about the brothers or?
Not really. Like, it's pretty hard. I mean, I always thought, not because they were my brothers, but I thought they wrestled, they were good and they were solid too. They weren't no gimmicks there. Like Rudy was both, and Leo. They're all good. Bobby, youngest brother. They all, they wrestled good. I wasn't ashamed to tell anybody they were my brothers, They always respected me, too, so, like they done a good job, and they enjoyed it. For the time being there, like Bobby didn't wrestle quite as long as we did there, but yeah.
So how does, when you're going to go in and do a match that maybe is challenging to your mental and physical being, how do you prepare for that?
Them days, you stayed in shape pretty well, and you got ready, and when, it's like anything else. Like, if you're ready and you feel good, you're in shape. Like me, I never was a man on earth that I was scared of, never. Don't matter what you look at any wrestler in the ring. I always, in my mind, I said, I ain't scared of him. I can handle him, somehow. But that's the way I am, and I'm still that way. I'm not saying that. But I mean, if I go somewhere in a club, or, so I don't go to clubbing that much, but anyway, and you always have sometimes somebody kind of gets a little fresh or anything. I would just look at him, and there's no way, the guy maybe knocked the heck out of me, but I don't think so. I'm not type of scared, because I always figured there's 10,000 ways I can destroy him, but maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the way I am. Yeah.